In those quiet moments, have you ever just felt this pull, this longing to step away from all the noise? To just listen for a whisper from a time long past? Well, that's what we're going to do. Together, we'll listen for that whisper, exploring these incredible ancient teachings on life, on our purpose, and on the great mystery of death. We're looking for a gentle wisdom for our world today.
Ashocyanan vashochastvam prajavadamscha bhashase gatasunscha nanusochanti pandita. These ancient words, they really touch the very heart of our sorrow, don't they? They suggest something pretty radical, that we grieve for what isn't truly lost. The wise, it says here, don't sorrow over the living or the dead. I mean, that's a profound idea, right? What if the whole foundation of our grief is just a misunderstanding of what's real?
Okay, so if the wise don't grieve, what is it that they know? What's their secret? Well, their wisdom really begins with a single, incredibly powerful distinction. Just understanding the difference between our physical form, our body, which is temporary, and our true essence, which is eternal. And you can see here, the ancient texts draw this line so clearly. On one side, you have the Deha, the body, and it's seen as, well, a perishable, temporary vessel, just something we're in for a while. But then on the other side, you have the Atman, the soul, and this is described as our eternal, our indefinable, our imperishable self. Think about that for a second. It's not something we have, it's literally what we are. And get this essence isn't just trapped inside us. The teaching says this soul pervades the entire universe. It's described as an indestructible substance. It points to this silent, constant reality that is always present, so far beyond what our eyes can see, completely unable to be harmed or destroyed. It's just there. Let's just let that beautiful idea settle in for a moment with the original words. Jivan ki is yatra mein Atma hi hamara sacha avinashi swarup hai. In the journey of this life, the soul is our true, indestructible nature. Once you start to grasp this idea of our eternal self, it just naturally leads to the big question we all face, right? How then should we live? How are we supposed to act with purpose in this temporary world? Well, the answer lies in what the texts call Dharma and Karma Yoga, the path of rightful action. And this brings us to one of the most, transformative, and let's be honest, challenging teachings in the Gita. You have a right to your actions, but never to its fruits. Now, this isn't a call to just not care, not at all. It's actually an invitation to act with complete, total dedication, but to release our grip, our attachment to the outcome, to the praise or the blame, the success or the failure. So this philosophy isn't just some abstract idea. It's a real practice. It really unfolds in 3 steps. First, we perform our duty with all our skill and all our heart. Then, step 2, we consciously let go of the result. We have to recognize the outcome isn't really in our control anyway. And third, we practice staying even-minded, whether we succeed or fail. This, the teachings tell us, this is the real path to freedom. But okay, let's be real. Why is letting go so hard? The Gita gives us this incredible, almost psychological map of how our suffering takes root. And it all begins so subtly, just with the mind dwelling on an object of the senses. It could be a person, a possession, a goal. And as our mind just keeps dwelling on it, a connection starts to form. That's attachment. It's that feeling that our happiness is now somehow tied to that thing. And once that attachment is there, well, it so often just blossoms into this powerful desire, a real craving. Suddenly, the mind isn't at peace anymore. It's in this constant state of wanting. So what happens when that craving is denied? When our desire goes unfulfilled? Well, from that deep well of frustration, anger is born. It's amazing how the texts show us this entire chain reaction of inner turmoil, and how it often starts with just this single, lingering thought. And this is where the path of Karma Yoga becomes our way out of this painful cycle. It's like a promise of peace, offered in the original words, Sacha Karma Yog, Hame is chakra se mukt karta hai, or Shanti Pradhan karta hai.
True karma yoga frees us from this cycle, and it offers us peace.
Okay. So with this understanding of our eternal soul and our path of action, we can now gently turn to the one thing that touches every single life, that great mystery of death. And this ancient wisdom, it invites us to look at it not as some fearful end, but as a profound change.
You know, the wisdom that's been passed down through generations, just like in a conversation between sages like this, it all points to one central truth. The key to facing this great transition is really the state of our own mind. They teach that a mind that is stable, that's disciplined, and at peace, well, it can overcome the fear of death itself.
And there's this absolutely beautiful metaphor for it, as a light does not flicker in a windless place. Imagine that. The teachings say this is the state of a disciplined yogi's mind, perfectly still, because it's free from all those winds of desire and fear. It's in that inner stillness that we find our greatest strength.
So if we can cultivate that inner stillness, and if we can truly, deeply feel the reality of our eternal nature, the teachings ask us a really simple, direct question. What then is there to fear when the body, which is just a temporary vessel, is shed?
The answer it offers comes not as a dry philosophy, but as this incredibly comforting, poetic image. Mrityu ant nahi, keval ek parivartan hai. Death is not an end, it is only a change. The soul simply changes bodies, the way a person changes worn-out clothes. And so I want to leave you with this question to carry with you, into the quiet of your own life. You see, the greatest wisdom doesn't always give us final answers. Sometimes it just gives us deeper questions. So, if the body is just a garment, what is the real you that wears it?